Hello everyone, welcome. This is the last week that we're going to be working on this painting, and this is going to be the layer 3 where basically I just go in and do a bunch of details. There's still quite a bit to do. It's kind of going to be a long process doing that. So what I've decided is I'm going to start this time with a time lapse, and when it feels like it's getting close, I'm going to turn it off and show you real time some of the very finishing up stages, and we'll talk about what I did. Obviously, hopefully it's obvious that I'm not done yet, but I just thought of a couple things that I wanted to show you, not on time lapse. So I thought I'd just break in and do that. So the first one is on this shiny side of the spinning wheel right here. I want to show you how to go with watercolor. I want it to be darker up here, and then as it comes around I want it to get a little bit lighter, and then lighter, and then get darker again. So we're going to do that right now. Basically I'm starting out with some brownish gold paint and not as much water. It's still sort of watered down because I don't want it to be as dark as this, but so we did that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water. Just in my brush is just water right now, and I'm going to pull this down. And now same color, but just with more water in it as I come around. Basically I want this part of the spinning wheel to be light because it's in the light, but I don't want it to be as light as the stuff over here, so it's not as important. Make it even a little darker. Now as I come around here, I'm going to add more color in and less water as it goes down that way. So just being able to go from thicker paint to thinner paint back to thicker is a nice thing to know. Alright, so I worked on the spinning wheel, which you probably saw, and a little bit on this corner. I toned down the highlight right here because, again, like, I want that to look like it's turning, that the light is hitting it, but it's not as important as this part. So the next thing I want to show you in regular time is this, his neck ruff thing. I had in my mind that it was going to be just a solid color right here, but it feels incomplete to me, so I want to go in and paint a little more detail. Same with the arm cuff. So I've found my original photo reference that I used for this costume. Okay, so I found this photo on Pinterest, and you can see this guy's ruff, neck ruff. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a little tiny bit more detail. Not a lot, just enough. Okay, so right in here, I'm just going to be looking at this a little bit and some of the shapes, and I'm going to block them in. Actually, I think I'm going to draw them in first. A couple of the things that I want. So these meet right in here. Okay. That should give me something to work with. So I'm basically, and you can't see my palette this time, but I'm basically using this green, dark background color, and some of the light brown that I used for the spinning wheel, and plus a little bit of gold maybe. I just want it to be enough to indicate that there's something there. Okay, I don't know if I like that better or not, but that's what we've got. So I'm going to leave it for a bit and stare at it and see if something better comes. Okay, the next thing I want to do is, this doesn't, well, I'm going to put a shadow. I did put this in my colored study a little bit, but I want to put a shadow from the hat brim coming across his face right into here, and I guess maybe even over here onto the ruff. Think that through for a second. I don't know, I'll just put it on his face. I feel like it's gonna unify things a little better, even though in my mind there wouldn't be that big of a shadow because the light I picture coming from this way. That's why I put this shadow up here, which probably isn't dark enough. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and knock back this ear. So I want it to be going into the background under the hat. Actually, I think that's working, but now I want this to be darker. Okay, I definitely like that ear knocked back. Maybe instead of a shadow with the hat. I don't know, it just feels like it needs to be there. I'm just gonna do it. If I mess up, no big deal. I can just start this painting over, right? Shadow right here to nose, cast a shadow. Does it look awful? Kind of, huh? this whole, put this all in shadow. I'm gonna go put those highlights back in later with gouache. Okay, that's a little better. Ugh, I don't know. I don't know if I like that or not. Did I mess it up? Hope not, because I don't actually have time to repaint this. I need to have it out for my patrons in about, I don't know if it's about a week. It's not a long time with the story, so I guess this is a good time to say, again, if you want to read the Rumpelstiltskin story that I wrote that goes with this, it's pretty short, about 2,000 words. You can get that on talesfantastic.com for free. And if you want to support the stories, you can do that on Patreon. Hopefully you already signed up for Patreon to get your free button, mermaid button. I don't know, guys. Still needs work, but we're gonna stop messing with it for a minute. Actually, I lied. We're gonna stop messing with it for a minute in a minute. Get it written up. A couple of these areas that I put into shadow. Now I'm gonna leave it for a bit. I might be overworking this whole thing. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on some other details, probably in the hat, but I'm gonna do that with time lapse and come back to you when I'm ready to show you something new. All right, guys, so I am ready, I think, to kind of add in some of the highlights that I didn't save over here on his face and whatnot. So I have my color study pulled up in front of me, and I have some gouache, white gouache, and some of my watercolor paint mixed right here. And we're gonna go ahead and see what we can do. That seems to be working. Ew, that's good. Okay, it needs to be a little lighter. So I'm just mixing a little more white. I didn't want it to be too light, so. and I'm basing it on the color study that I did. I'm mixing a little more white in because it's definitely drying darker. So I'm gonna call this finished, I think. Really what's gonna happen next is I'm gonna set it up in my office and stare at it for a day or two, and I'll probably see a couple other finishing touches that I need to do. I probably won't set up the camera for that, but I think you get the idea of the process, and this is the done illustration. So it's pretty crazy. I feel like something's wonky in his eyes. That's something I'm gonna have to stare at again. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this whole process. If you stuck with me through the whole thing, thanks so much. Don't forget to like this video and share it with people if you liked it or think that they can use help with any aspect. And then next week, tune in. I'm gonna go ahead and do kind of an overview of all the different steps in one short video, just in case you want a quick, what would you call it, a quick version, so you don't want to watch every single video all the time or whatever. This one will be there to remind you. Yeah, so that's what's gonna come next time, so stay tuned for that. And thanks you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like this process? Does it work for you? How do you think the painting turned out? So thanks you guys. Bye.